close. So I owned this property for 33 days, put $5,000 into it, and pulled $400,000 out.
So we've been talking about getting deals off the MLS. I know that Dan finds them. You've found them before. Tell me about the best deal you've ever found on the MLS.
So I've found quite a few deals off the MLS over the years, and the best deal I found, the best right now to date, was a deal I found that was a single-family house in a C-plus neighborhood, and it was marketed for $539,000. I had to remember that. That was a little bit hard to pull.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, oh, there's a lot of opportunity here. You remember this was almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And we had changed all the zoning on building ADUs and apartments and really pushed the limits on that. So I saw this property and it was this little house, and it was, if you remember, it was a 2-bedroom because there was like a pass-through bedroom.
Yeah.
And it had 1 bath. And the beauty is it had a 22,000 square foot lot.
And it was long.
It was really long.
All the way back up the hill.
And it went up the slope,
Yeah.
but it wasn't ESL, which is environmentally sensitive land, and it wasn't steep hillsides because of the grade of the slope. Now, we would never build up the slope, but it was buildable land, so it counted towards our bonus.
Yeah.
So kind of dive into how we got this. I had an agent, so this is why agent relationships are so important.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard us harp on that, you're probably not in our group. You've probably just seen us online, but we harp on agent relationships because they make deals happen.
Yeah.
The agent found the deal the minute it hit the market because it was in their search, and he immediately called me and was like, Andrew, I think this deal is for you. I was like, cool, perfect. He's like, I'm out of town. I was like, don't even stress it. I'll get in.
Yeah.
I can pull it up. And this was one of my biggest clues on this deal. And this is a gem for any agent listening or any listing agent or any buyer. This is something you want to pay attention to. There's a service called Showing Time. It's run by Zillow, so it's probably terrible. And what it does is it allows you to book appointments online. So they have their showing windows. They tell you when it's available. This is a vacant property on Lockbox. So they had the showing windows available. So what's the first thing you're going to do if you want to buy a property and you're looking for a showing window? It's actually probably the third thing you would think of. This is the first thing I think of. I went in and looked at the next 5 days to see how many bookings had been set.
Yeah.
There was 1 booking. So I booked right after it. And what I did was I got there just before their showing so I could see who it was. And it was a regular buyer. I didn't recognize him. It was an agent showing just a regular buyer. I didn't let them see me, that I was there across the street. I went up till they looked at the property, they left. I saw they were only there for about 4 minutes. So I was like, okay, they're not obviously that interested.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, I have an idea that there's low traffic on this property. I went in, I was like, cool, it's a total piece of you know what. And I was like, but you know what, I can rent it out. I'll demo it and I'll build my apartment complex. And I designed a 26 unit there, 25 unit I think actually. So I got it, I went through, I kept an eye on it. I asked them when they were gonna get offers. They said they weren't reviewing until Sunday. So I just tracked it for the next 3 days and I only saw 1 other appointment show up. And had the agent reach out and they were like, oh yeah, no, we've had a ton of showings, lots of activity, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, write it 6,000 over and tell them they have to sign immediately or we're gonna pull it off.
Yeah.
So I went over because I was like, this is a great deal still. So I wrote it 545. And when I did that, it was, they were like, oh, well, we gotta check everything out. We might multi-counter you. And I just told them, it's like, well, this is our highest and best.
Yeah.
Came back, they signed, and the first thing I noticed was that the name on title and the name that signed it at this point were different. So they accepted it, and I called him, I was like, are we in a probate? And he's like, oh, no, this isn't a probate deal. And it was an agent from out of the area that didn't know the area, didn't market it. And he's like, no, it's not a probate. 5 days later, when they're asking for our contingency release, they're like, hey, this is a probate deal. I was like, cool, no worries. I just needed time. So all I cared about was that the home stayed vacant and they weren't going to put anyone in it, and they'd guarantee that if a squatter came in, they got them out. So it took them about 4.5 months. I spent $5,000 on getting a schematic done to design out the property. And at the same time, we were working on some deals, doing some things, and we're like, hey, I think we kind of like snagged this for a crazy price.
Yeah.
And you can see here, like in this image, it's the actual image of the schematic of what we're going to put on there. And we showed you the house earlier. I was like, I think we could get a lot of money for this. And my partner was like, yeah, no, I think we could. I was like, all right, well, let's not ruffle any feathers. Let's, just see what happens. Let's close it. So we got set up to close, walk through, and I was like, dude, perfect. I was worried we had that weird carport. You remember that carport? Yeah. And then we had the slope, had a lot of weeds on it.
Wasn't it gonna like fall on us?
Oh
or something?
yeah. No, remember it had that rope tied around it that was holding that corner. If we have a photo of that, we'll add it here. It was wild. I think we have a photo. You do or I do. It was crazy. And this was like a 25-foot long carport.
Held up by
like
one piece of
a
rope.
string. So I was like, hey, before we do anything, the day we close, I sent in my guy Tavo, best in the business.
We love you, Tavo.
Love you, Tavo. Came through, demoed that out, and then cleared the entire slope for me, just to make sure we didn't have any fire issues. Cleared the entire slope, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get on the phone with other developers and see if they want anything.
Yeah.
And I just sold a 5-unit build to a guy over by San Diego State. So I called his agent, and I was like, hey, I got this deal. If you give me $950, I'll sell it to you.
Yeah.
And if you paid attention, I'm into it for $550. So he called me back. No. That's not correct. I offered it to him for $1 million.
Yeah, because you're into it at $539 plus 6, right?
Plus 6, plus 5 to do the other work.
Got it.
So I'm in it for $550.
Yeah.
I offered it to him for $1 million. He came back at $950.
Yeah.
And I said, sure. He turned my arm. He got me. So went into escrow, and literally it took an extra 2 days, but 32 days later, we closed. So I owned this property for 33 days, put $5,000 into it, and pulled $400,000 out.
What was the big giveaway when you like saw the property before you went out there? What was the dead giveaway that like there must be something here?
It was the lot size.
Yeah.
The lot size was insane. So every other lot except for this lot and the 2 lots next to it, which we tried to buy, was between 10,000 to 7,000 square feet.
Yeah.
This one went all the way up, and it was because there was a flag lot that came in and they built an apartment complex on top. So it made everyone else's lot short, and then these 3 went all the way up.
Yeah.
So they were huge lots.
One thing that I remember is that when we were looking at this, right next door was a huge apartment complex.
Massive apartment complex.
And everything there was RM zoned, but they're all single family homes, 2-bedroom, 1 baths. So when you looked at it initially, did you take a look at kind of what was surrounding it or what was next door?
I would say yes, except for the fact that I just knew the area.
Yeah.
So I knew that zoning. 6 parcels down, it's single family.
Yeah.
Then it's all multifamily.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of interesting lots over there. Now, at the top of the hill, with the way they did the grading back in the day, there's tons of issues with those lots.
Yeah.
The bottom of the hill, the actual basin, there's not. So there's like little things like that as you do more deals, you guys will start to see these.
Yeah.
But you'll see this. But I mean, did you pick up any lessons that I put in there that are worthwhile for people to pay attention to?
That one was a really fun one because I remember the broken window. I don't know if you remember that. We have some photos of the broken window. I'll put one up right now. Photos of the broken window. And then we had a cheat codes event there that was pretty good.
Yep.
A lot of people came through to that.
We had a cheat codes event. We closed. We pulled the carport. And I was like, let's do a cheat codes event that weekend. And then we realized we were in escrow when we did that event. So I was talking about what we were going to build there because I didn't want to tell anybody because they hadn't released contingencies. I couldn't tell them yet that we had actually already sold it.
Yeah, crazy. Biggest takeaway there was knowing what the property is zoned for.
Yes.
Knowing whether or not you can use like complete communities. At that time, TPA was a thing, so you were kind of talking about that stuff. I was still learning a lot about ADUs and what you can do with it. I never paid attention to fire and fire access and turnaround and things like that. And I remember that one, there was a problem because you had something on the street. It was the curb cut, I think you would have to move, or a pole.
I completely forgot about this. Do you remember? Okay, so the sidewalk here, when you came up to the property, it jogged in 5 feet.
Yeah, something like that.
There was an easement right there. So we had to move the curb cut. We also had the power pole coming in, and that easement didn't allow us to access on that side, so we had to go up the other side. The next thing is I wanted 3 stories, but we had to put 2 sets of units on the first and second floor, and then push back because we actually had to do the support beam to go across, and it had to be far enough back that the fire truck could pull in and get their fire pole.
Yeah.
So the truck would come in 50 feet and stop, and then it could reach every unit.
Yeah.
Then we could have the support, and we were able to back in the spots underneath. Because if we put all of the support on the one side, we had too many posts, so we were gonna run 2 sets of steel on this side and then up, so we could actually carry across and then reduce the steel, and it got us 2 more parking. And there's little things. That's a huge thing, but it's a little thing in the scheme of a project when you're planning it that we had to consider. Yeah. And that's why having a lot of experience, working with people that have a lot of experience, and then also your consultants on these projects need to be working in the municipality that you're in.
Yep,
it's very key. So the other lesson, and I think this is huge, if you have a property you're going to buy off the MLS and they have showing time, track it.
Yep.
Track to see when the showings are. They all show up. If it's completely blacked out and there's no availability, you know it's slammed.
Yep.
We just did this on another deal. We didn't end up getting it, but we tracked it and we had an idea of where it was at.
Yep.
The other thing too is like these people, unfortunately, that were selling it, they went to an out of area agent.
Yep.
And he gave it to them for 0.5% was the commission that he took. So he took 0.5%. So they tried to save, quite literally, $11,000 is what they saved, and it cost them $400,000.
Yep.
So you want to save money in the right places. Don't step over a nickel to pick up a penny.
Cut off your nose to spite your face.
Don't do any of those things that aren't good.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the biggest thing here is people need to really realize that they need to hire people within side of San Diego, whether it's a consultant.
Not San Diego, wherever they're at.
Wherever their municipality is, right? Within the city that they're operating in.
Yeah.
Because.
But if you're in San Diego, how many municipalities are there? How many building departments?
City of San Diego?
In San Diego. If you say San Diego, how many?
Okay, well then there's Lemon Grove. Lemon Grove doesn't have one. It's
I know exact number. I want to guess I bet you don't even know. This is a hard thing to get. 19.
14.
There's 9. Did you try and say it when I said it?
It's 19.
There's 19 different municipalities in San Diego County.
That's like Chula Vista, La Mesa, Escondido.
San Diego County, Escondido, San Marcos, Vista, Oceanside, Carmel Valley. Not Carmel Valley.
That's exhausting.
Del Mar. There's so many.
Yep.
So Ramona.
Yep. Wow.
There's a ton of different building departments. So you have to get someone that's specific to the job.
Yeah.
And then, you have to find a mentor or someone that can actually show you how to find this stuff. We have a community that focuses on this all across the country. We can help you in any municipality because we know how to do it in every municipality because there's certain steps that have to be followed. If you want to learn more about that, just check out Real Estate Cheat Codes. But if not, just keep following us and let us know what you want to learn about here. We'd love to share with you and help you build your knowledge.
We've gone through nearly every type of deal there is. So if you want to learn about real estate investment or development, this is the place to be.
I was actually going to say we haven't been through scams or fraud, but we've actually seen that too, and we'll talk about that another time. Yeah. All right, guys.
Catch you next time.
Cheers.